Thank you, Tom. And thanks to folks who are joining the conversation today. Again, I'm Gretchen Locke. I'm the clerk of the congregation and have been working as a board member on updating our vision and mission. So I want to thank my colleagues on the board and also Liz Coit, who's our congregational consultant, has been working with us on the Next Steps process. Next slide, please, Bill. So why are we doing this? This is in response to a lot of Next Steps feedback that we heard from a number of sources, indicating that MUUC lacks a clear vision and mission, and that for moving forward, we need to spend some time on that. The current vision and mission are not that well known. They're very inwardly focused, and they haven't really helped to guide us forward as we move ahead. Next slide. So how are we going to use these updated vision and mission? Importantly, they'll help to inform the 18-month planning we're doing under Next Steps. We're looking at several areas of congregational life and developing goals for meeting our revised mission and developing objectives to keep us on track. So it's important that that mission be clearly articulated in order to line up those goals and objectives. We can also use them to inspire taglines for stationery and for communication and marketing, to check our activities and plans against the mission to make sure that we're furthering the mission in the ways that we want to. We could use the mission as a sort of template for writing our annual report summaries. That's something Liz Coit has encouraged us to think about. And it can help link our legacy and our history to our shared future moving forward. Next slide. So what makes a good vision and mission? Just to get the sort of definitions clear, a vision is meant to be aspirational, forward-looking, memorable, and it serves to drive the mission. It respects our history and helps us reach for our shared, hoped-for future. The mission is what we want to accomplish. It's what we want to do. It's who we want to help. It's what changes we want to see in the world. And it empowers everyone in the congregation, in the church, to be involved, regardless of their age or their role. The mission is meant to inform all aspects of church life, not just worship and programs, but also our governance, our finance approaches, and our property practices. Further, the mission and vision really have separate purposes, and each needs to stand on its own. So we try not to have too much repetition between the two, just for parsimony and also so that each can really stand on its own. Next. So what have we done so far? The board's been working on this for basically this full church year. We started in the fall by revisiting the existing vision and mission. We talked about them internally as a board, also had the opportunity to attend a multi-board retreat that was sponsored by the UUA in September and was focused on sort of planning and some of the big issues that congregations are facing. So that was actually very helpful for our discussions internally as well. From there, we identified themes from Next Steps and from other sources that would help inform the revisions we felt we needed to make. We looked at examples from other UU churches to get ideas on what they've done, put together a series of drafts for discussion over the course of several board meetings, kind of came up with a consensus version within the board and then shared that with the council at their meeting in January and with staff since then. And then we're here today to share it with you. So our goal was really to be thorough and thoughtful, but also to be efficient and sort of get to something that we felt was reflective of what we needed and that we could share with the congregation. Next slide. So this is kind of where we are, and here we are today with sharing with you. Next one. So we're now getting to the big reveal. There are some paper copies of the vision and mission on one page in this slideshow. They're on separate slides. So Kathy has those. If you'd like to have a piece of paper to hold in front of you, raise your hand and she could bring those to you. So I'm just going to start by reading through them. This is the proposed vision. We envision a dynamic faith community that nourishes our liberal religious values of love, reason, conscience, and action, We foster lives of integrity, joy, and service to each other, to Melrose and neighboring communities, and to the world. So what we were trying to accomplish here is to have something that was relatively short, that's mostly in kind of plain English, that uses words that we understand internally, but that would be meaningful to people outside the church as well. And that really reflects our values. What are the key values that we want to convey in our vision? Next slide. So this is the mission. As you can see, it's a little bit longer, but it kind of lends itself to truncation. I'll talk about that as we go along. So the mission is, again, this is meant to be what we want to do and what we want to accomplish, what difference we want to make. At MUUC, we nurture and challenge ourselves to deeper understanding, meaning, and purpose. We gather through worship, music, lifelong learning, and caring ministries to build a vibrant, compassionate, and growing MUUC community. We inspire spiritual growth, to heal hearts, and to support each other. We give generously of our time, talents, and resources at MUUC and beyond, energized by our contributions and grateful for those of others. We transform lives and communities beyond our walls through our own efforts and in partnership with others in the service of social and environmental justice. So we felt like this captured those varied areas of church life that we were looking to reflect, both programs and operations. The themes seem to capture what we were hearing about in Next Steps, those themes of community, spiritual growth and lifelong learning, service, generosity, and action among ourselves and also with others. Also, you can see the sort of formatting tricks here with the key words in each of those bullet points being all in capital letters and highlighted in red in this version, could pretty easily be truncated into we gather, we inspire, we give, and we transform. So that can serve as the sort of pocket version that reminds us day to day what it is that we're here to do. So if you could just hold on that slide for a minute, I just want to make a couple more comments before we continue. So the board put a lot of time and thought into crafting a vision and mission that we really feel reflects what we've heard from the congregation over the last year and a half on where we are and where we'd like to go. So we're not asking for editorial input. We're not asking for wordsmithing at this time. We ask that you join us in living with and testing out this vision and mission for the next few months as we go forward with Next Steps. We'll work with lay leaders to develop goals and objectives that align with the mission and vision and that further the priorities we've identified in the areas of programs and finance and property and operations. We're going to report back on our progress around mid-April, just kind of see how we're doing. We'll have another opportunity in May when we have our annual meeting to check in again. So at this point, we sort of welcome your comments, interested just to see how this lands with you, and then we can move forward with it over the next few months. So, Bill, you want folks to use this microphone for questions? Okay, so there is a microphone here, just so that people on Zoom can see and hear you with questions. If you'd like to ask a question, please come forward. Folks on Zoom, if you have comments, you can type them into the chat, and Janice Bissix is monitoring the chat and can convey those to us. So next slide, please. There's just a few sort of questions to reflect on while you're thinking about what comments you might have. Does this vision reflect your understanding of MUUC's hoped-for future? Does the mission reflect what you hope will do and accomplish in pursuit of that vision? And does the board have your affirmation, your support in moving ahead with this vision and mission on our Next Steps journey? So would anyone like to come forward, make any comments, thoughts? We'll be putting this on the website also, and we do a regular Next Steps update, at least monthly, so you can find out, you know, you can see more. I can put the slides up there if people are interested in me doing that. I can do that too. Comments, thoughts? Tomatoes? No? So the short version is 7 words, Michael O'Connor. 7 words if you only count we once. Are we good? He wanted 6.
Rebecca Mooney says, great job. Thank you for all the thought and work you put into this. Florence said, I appreciate all of the board's work on this. I think this version is fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks so much for everyone for staying. I really appreciate this opportunity to bring this to you. And if you want to reach out to me or anybody on the board, our names and contact information are on the lay leaders page on the website. So give us a yell. All right.